yeah, like Donnie is in a weird way is like this drugged out like sci-fi trip, and it's like we're dealing with things that I think literally everyone deals with.
Welcome to Watch Mojo's Poppin the Culture, your weekly entertainment touchpoint. And me, well, I'm your host with the most. Mojo, of course. That's right, it's me, Mr. Hollywood himself, Matt Demers. Such a big show coming your way. I'll be speaking with director Addison Heimann and star Zach Villa of their new psychological horror film, Hypochondriac. Plus, I've got the young actress and singer Indi Star. She talks about the new superhero film, The Hyperions, and everything else she's up to. Don't want to miss it. But first, it's time to jump into it. Here's your Hollywood headlines. All right, as we do each and every show, we kick things off with a look at some of the more interesting developments out there in Hollywood. I need help breaking it down, and this week I've recruited, he's back. Rob, how's it going?
I'm good, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. You are the channel manager over there on MojoPlays, so I've clearly sprinkled some video game details and news and notes that I hope you can chime in on. I'm actually going to start. I'm going to start with one because this ties into a show. It's Halo. Halo, the series, is coming our way. Who's the star? Pablo Schreiber, who I'm a fan of. I think he's a great guy. He's playing our Master Chief. Are you? I mean, listen. The buzz, I guess you can say, about this has been pretty lukewarm. As a video game guy, is this on your radar at all?
Well, I have to say that personally, I've never been the biggest Halo fan. More of a casual Halo player. I never really got deep into the series. I haven't played like all the games. But I am interested in this show. It seems like it has some potential. It's always tough with video game adaptations, though. There's so many different types of people that you have to cater to. You have to satisfy the fans of the games and then also appeal to newcomers. So it's really tough to balance. I don't know. I think it's a toss-up as far as how well the show will do, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah, no, and I am too. And like I've been saying on the show for people that have been watching, not the biggest video game guy. I do dabble. I am very familiar with Halo, kind of the story. From the early reactions and the early reviews, which I didn't get, unfortunately, but I can tell you that it starts before where the game starts. So it's almost a bit of a prequel, and then a few episodes in, we get to where it starts. And by the way, it's already been renewed for a second season.
Yeah, so they must have some confidence in it.
Paramount Plus, if you're wondering, they're the ones that are going to be putting this on. They've already said, yeah, let's do a second one. So yeah, they must be happy with what they got. What does the show need to do to satisfy people? You said it's going to be hard to do, but what do they need to do?
I think they need to, kind of like I said, appeal to the hardcore Halo fans by throwing in those, satisfying like tidbits from the games, the Easter eggs and stuff like that, but also make it accessible because it isn't going to be just Halo players who are going to want to watch this. They need to appeal to everybody. So it's that balancing act. I think that's what they need to do if they want to have long-term success with this.
Yeah, I hope they do. What's the other one? The Witcher. That's based on games and books as well, right? Mm-hmm. And that's doing really well. I love the way that show looks, and they've been doing some really great stuff over there on Netflix. Yeah. And this one does look good as well. And I think that's one of the things about the Halo games is that and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but kind of those graphics, the way it looks was really well done. So
yeah, totally ahead of their time, those games.
Yeah, if they can translate that to the small screen, then I think we're golden with this series. By the way, the first Halo game was like 21 years ago.
I know. Where does the time go?
All right. Well, sorry for making everyone out there feel nice and old. But of course, I want to know if you will be watching the Halo series. Hell yeah or hell no. So there you go. Let me know. Let's move on to someone that I love watching in anything he's in because he's unpredictable. It's Nicolas Cage. Just a legend, I guess you can call him at this point in his career. His filmography is incredible. He's got a new movie, Rob, coming out where he plays, get this, Nicolas Cage. He plays himself. And the reviews are in. By the way, the movie's called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Such a great title.
How modest.
And the reviews are in. They're saying Nicolas Cage as Nicolas Cage makes for the perfect Nicolas Cage. So what's happening in this movie is Nicolas Cage is playing a version of himself. So he's playing a divorced, debt-ridden version of himself. And he accepts $1 million to attend the birthday party of a wealthy and possibly criminal superfan. And of course, the movie becomes a Nicolas Cage film, not unlike Face Off or Con Air, those kind of things.
Right.
Listen, I'm all in for this. I love me some Nicolas Cage. What do you think? Are you a Nick Cage fan?
It sounds awesome. The first time I heard of it was through you. And yeah, I'm a 100% on board. Nick Cage is fascinating. And yeah, like you said, there was actually I always think of this one episode from Community where Abed attends a class where he's trying to figure out whether Nick Cage is good or bad, and it drives him insane. I can relate to that because he's just a mystery of an actor.
An enigma, I call him, an enigma. So this is going to be interesting. It's coming out in the month of April. Reviews, like I said, have been spectacular. It's already at like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It might go down a little bit. Let's hope not, because I think Nicolas Cage is great. And don't forget, the man's won an Oscar award, right? Mm-hmm. He's an accomplished actor, but he's also done like some of the most bizarre movies. You ever seen The Wicker Man with the bees and the...
That clip with the bees is one of my... I rewatch it like every couple months. I have to go back and rewatch it just to get a little kick.
Unbelievable. Or there's that one movie where he says the ABCs and he does the whole... Man, I can't get enough Nick Cage. What's your favorite Nicolas Cage movie before we move on?
Hard to say, but that trifecta that he did in the 90s with was it The Rock, Con Air, and Face Off, that all came out kind of back to back. Those three are prime Nicolas Cage. Those have to be my favorites.
They want to do a remake of Face Off. I remember that was in the news, so I should try to find out the status of that, because that's a classic.
Ridiculous.
Face Off. Unbelievable. All right. Let's move on to, like I said, video games is kind of your wheelhouse, Rob.
Yeah.
I've tasked you with some games that maybe we should be looking out for, because that's what I get asked a lot. I go to my barber and he's always like, he's a big video game guy, and he's like, oh, you work with WatchMojo. What are the video games? What should I be looking out for? I never really know what to tell him. So I'm looking to you. Give us that guidance, Rob. What should my barber be buying next?
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff coming up. For the Nintendo fans, on the 25th of March, Kirby and the Forgotten Land is coming out, which looks pretty cool. It seems it's taking...
Yeah, no, I've heard a lot about this Kirby game, for sure.
Yeah, people were freaking out when they saw that he could, transform into a car and do different things like that. It seems like they're taking a bit of a page out of the Super Mario Odyssey book for this game, which is pretty cool. So people seem to be excited about that one. I am. On the PlayStation side of things, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is another game that's coming out. That's a spin-off of the Borderlands series, but it seems to have a bit more of like a fantasy element to it, which is pretty cool. And then my personal favorite upcoming game, and maybe this is because I'm still a 12-year-old on the inside, it's Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, coming out April 5th. We actually got a bit of a sneak preview of that game, so you can check out the videos that we've done over on MojoPlays, because we're all looking forward to it on the video game team.
Isn't it so strange that Lego, those little Legos, has adapted so well to other mediums like video games, like you said, and movies, and they have series and all kinds of stuff.
They're geniuses. They just do it so well.
Where they look like Lego. And they're very self-aware, which I love too, right? They're not hiding the fact that they're Legos or, that's what the characters look like. They do it really well. So they're geniuses over there at Lego. But those all sound like great picks. Can't wait to tell my barber.
Good times coming up.
Next time I get the cut. Okay. Hey, Rob, don't go anywhere, because me and you, it is time for us to go beyond the list. All right, Rob, here's what we do. We dig deep in the vast archives of WatchMojo. We pluck out our top 10 lists. We go beyond that list. But really what that means is me and you give our own personal opinions. Did Watch Mojo get it right? Did they get it wrong? Have we seen these entries? I'm intrigued because today we are focusing on top 10 underappreciated superhero movies. Watch Mojo has been really great at highlighting these underappreciated films or shows and things of that nature. This is specifically to do with the superhero genre movies. One of my favorite genres. I do love a good superhero movie. Do you?
Yes, of course I do.
Little side quest here. Did you see the new Batman?
I have yet to see it.
Okay. I think you'll love it. It's one of my favorite superhero movies. And I don't even know if I want to classify it really as a superhero film because it's got so many more genre elements. But of course it's Batman and it's amazing. All right, let's move on to this particular list. So we're looking at those underappreciated superhero films that deserved more acclaim, more attention, more love. Maybe because, well, they probably aren't DC or Marvel, right? So let's see how...
We can't all be DC and Marvel.
They can't all. So let's see. These are apparently, according to Watch Mojo, ones that we should have checked out or should be checking out. Number 10 on their list is a movie called Sky High. I do remember this. 2005 or going back. Rob, I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if it's a little too obscure, but it's about these superheroes. It's a school, and it's in the sky. That's why it's called Sky High, where they're learning how to be superheroes. But the cast was really great. Kurt Russell, hello. Elizabeth Winstead, Cloris Leachman. So there was obviously the comedy aspect, the action parts, the young cast. I don't know. This was, in a word, fun. Did you even see this?
I don't think I have. It seems to me like, was this kind of like a teen movie or like a young adult kind of film?
100% geared towards that young adult crowd, yeah.
Yeah, I might have skipped on this one.
But yeah, it is fun. Like if you're not looking, I mentioned the Batman. So there's the Batman, and the complete opposite would be Sky High. So
okay, got it.
If this is your thing, but you can have fun with that. Number 9, I'd be shocked if you didn't see this one, but I 100% agree that this is underappreciated. I would actually probably put it a little closer to number 1 there, Watch Mojo. That's a movie called Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass, yes. 2010. Even the second Kick-Ass I really dug.
Yeah.
This obviously based on the Mark Millar comics with John Romita Jr. Just great stuff. I mean, we spoke earlier about Nicolas Cage. He plays a great character.
Awesome. Big Daddy.
Who's his daughter? She's so good in this.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, fantastic movie. I would put Kick-Ass near the top of the list as well. That's actually one of my favorite superhero movies, period.
Yeah, and it's it's very much R-rated, and they go for it. They go for the gore, and they go for but it's stylized really well, and it's almost, I don't want to call it realistic, but it's almost like, it's
a little bit gritty. It's, it's got that realism to it.
Yeah, no, it's great. Did you see the second one too? Because Jim Carrey was in the second one.
Yeah, the second one was also great. It was very good too. I do enjoy it's hard to live up to the comics. When you have these legendary graphic novels that you're adapting to movies, it's really hard to capture the magic, but I think they get pretty close with the movies.
I think so too. I would love to see a third one, but I think at this point they probably have to reboot it because it's been so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the actor's actually come a long way, the guy that played Kick-Ass.
And he's been featured in Marvel movies too. He was Quicksilver, wasn't he?
I was going to say, he was the original Quicksilver, exactly. Yeah. Number 8 on this list, we're going animated here, Rob. This one's called Megamind, 2010. This is the Will Ferrell one. Am I wrong about that? Is it Will Ferrell? Yeah.
Was it? It might be.
Yes, it is. It is Will Ferrell. Yes, I do remember this. Tina Fey's also in voicing Jonah Hill and Brad Pitt. Now, the reason why many people might forget about this, and I remember this quite well, is it came out the same year within the same time frame as Minions, right? Despicable Me. And they're both similar, right? Despicable Me about the bad guy and his minions. And then you had this one, and it Despicable Me obviously took off, and this one got left in the dust. Bad timing?
Yeah, probably got overshadowed, but it happens. I do remember this one quite well. Great cast, like you mentioned, a lot of stars. Just probably bad timing for the release.
Yeah. They are going back to the well in animation as far as the bad guys go, the villains, because there's a movie coming out, animated movie called Bad Guys. So they'll see how they do. Apparently, kids like the bad guys. Despicable Me. Yeah. It's any indication. Number 7, this is another one that I do recommend people check out. It's something called Code 8. Came out in 2019, and this is from Robbie Amell and Stephen Amell, actually, both in there together. And it's depicting a world in which super-powered individuals are treated as lower class. So it's a bit of a spin there. So I don't want you to think like big budget, blow them up, blockbuster. The budget was quite small. It was very economical for a superhero film, but the emotional stakes were great. I don't know. I thought it was really well done. Did you get a chance to check out Code 8? Because you should definitely do so.
Haven't seen it, but now that you mention it, I think I'm going to add it to my list.
Yeah, no, and I do Stephen Amell, people know him from Arrow, right?
Right.
I guess I always thought they were brothers, but they're cousins, Robbie and Stephen. So I guess, yeah, they're in it together, and this was kind of their little passion project. So they put a lot of their, emotion, a lot of tender love and care into that one. So, all right, number 6. I almost spit out my coffee earlier when I was reading through the list because I thought it said Batman and Robin.
I made the same mistake. I did a double take on this one.
But it's not.
What the heck is Batman and Robin doing on this list?
Yeah, it's not the George Clooney Schumacher disaster. It is Batman versus Robin from 2015. This is animated, and I did see this. So this is dealing with Batman and Damian, his son.
Yeah.
And there's this really wonderful kind of dynamic there where Damian's trying to find himself, and he kind of goes to the dark side, and Batman's trying to navigate all that with the help of his previous Robins. And yeah, I like this. This is DC animated. I feel like DC does really great animated films.
They do. They have a lot of great animated films. I haven't seen this one in particular, but they have so many great adaptations of these iconic Batman stories from the comics. They usually do a really solid job.
Yeah, no, and I definitely agree, and I definitely think this is worth the watch if you're into those animated DC films, Batman versus Robin, not the other one. Number 5, yeah, I'm gonna say a little underappreciated. This being Watchmen. WatchMojo has it at the midway point, 2009. Obviously, Zack Snyder. People know the name, the Snyderverse. Yeah. Do you remember when this first came out? Did you see it back in the day?
I do, and I have a very, very distinct memory because I was taking a class in university about graphic novels, and we were reading Watchmen at the same time that the movie was released. So I finished reading the graphic novel, and then I saw the movie immediately afterwards, and it honestly left a big impression on me. I loved the movie. People say that it doesn't measure up to the work of the graphic novel, but I think it comes close. It's one of my favorites as well, and I'm happy to see it here because I think it is underappreciated.
Yeah, me too. And they always said that Watchmen was unfilmable. You couldn't make it on the big screen because they talked about it a long time. Obviously, that graphic novel is iconic. I think it ends up on like the Time magazine's top 100 novels or whatever.
It's
like
so
the
good.
Yeah, it's fantastic if you haven't read the graphic novel. But yeah, I think Snyder put his visual style to great work here. I mean, yeah, there's a few moments that don't really resonate too well with fans, but I think on the big picture, it's fantastic. Yeah, so I love me some Watchmen. Did you ever watch that HBO series, by the way, where they did the Watchmen?
Yes, and I loved that as well. I thought it was fantastic.
Me too. So when people say it's unfilmable, forget it. Look what they've done. They were able to do 2 fantastic pieces of work. So there you go. Watchmen 2009. No complaints there. Again, maybe I would have dropped that a little closer to the number 1 point. So let's see what's better, Rob. Okay, I have no idea what this is. Some of them, most of these I've seen. Fast Color in 2018. I have no idea. Do you know what this is?
No, I've never heard of this one.
Fast Color, WatchMojo is calling it a very emotional spectacle where there's an abduction and there's an incredible sense of heart and belief in the strength. I mean, it just sounds like there's not a lot of superhero stuff and there's more like drama stuff, which I guess could be a good take on it. But yeah, I have no idea. Fast Color. According to WatchMojo, we should check it out. Number 3, I have seen Mystery Men.
It's been a while. I haven't seen. When did that come out? In the late 90s?
Yeah, late 90s, 1999.
Oh my gosh, it's been years since I've seen Mystery Men.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Listen, this is before all the superhero resurgences that happened in the 2000s. So this is early superhero stuff, and with a very comedic take, because the cast is Ben Stiller, William H. Macy is in there as well, Janine Garofalo, and they're a superhero. There's more to them. I think the guy that plays Pee Wee Herman, right? He's in there too.
Okay, yeah.
To give you a sense of these
What
superheroes.
a cast.
Yeah, but they're playing like they have lesser abilities. They're the losers, if you will, about the superhero community. But
Right.
there is a really great dynamic and chemistry, and obviously there's all kinds of lessons. But I remember it being quite funny as well. Just something different. Mystery Men, 1999. There's a blast from the past right there.
I might have to go back and rewatch that one now.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, number 2. We're getting close to our number 1 most underappreciated movie of all time. Number 2, I've definitely seen, and I actually did a recent rewatch of this, and I will definitely, champion The Rocketeer. The Rocketeer from 1991. I remember when Disney Plus came out, and The Rocketeer was on that channel, the streaming channel, and I watched it again because I'd watched it way back, and I was like, wow, what a great job they did with this. It almost felt like an homage to, that kind of, well, it is a retro movie, right? Taken back in the day. But it's just incredibly well done, and it almost reminded me as well of the first Captain America Marvel movie. Yeah.
Has it aged well, in your opinion?
It definitely has. Definitely has. Billy Campbell's really great in the role. There's some really great action pieces here. Listen, it's just a really great movie. Yes, it's from Disney, so there's obviously going to be that kind of a little bit of wholesomeness and stuff, but it's really well done. Jennifer Connelly, come on.
Haven't seen this one, but I have seen it on Disney Plus, so yeah, I'll give that a watch.
Yeah, like I said, Disney Plus is great for rediscovering certain things. All right, you ready for this? Number 1, Rob? The most
Ready.
underappreciated superhero film, according to Watch Mojo. No arguments for me, because I do love Dredd. Dredd, 2012, as in Judge Dredd, and no, not the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd. We're talking the Carl Urban ones. I remember seeing this in theaters in 3D and being mind blown. Exceeded all my expectations, because I did remember the kind of campy Sylvester Stallone version that we got in the 90s. But this one, so great. And I'm so disappointed that we never got that sequel, because they kept talking about, there was all kinds of, this is before Restore the Snyderverse. There was all kinds of online, things that you could sign, and yeah, never got it.
I have to admit, I have not seen this one.
You never saw what?
No, I I think it might be because of the Stallone one that I never actually saw this one. But yeah, I have heard that it's good and an underrated superhero flick. So definitely something that I think I've picked up a few titles that I'm gonna have to watch pretty soon from this list.
Oh, absolutely. And put Dredd right on top of that list. Like I said, I'm not going to disagree with Watch Mojo putting this at number 1. What's that movie where they go in a building, and each floor has like a thing they got to take out, and it's...
Oh, is it kind of like a martial arts movie?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the title's escaping me, but I know what you're talking about.
I want to say Rumble something. But yeah, that's similar to what this movie turns into, because Judge Dredd has to enter this building
and fight his way up to the top.
And fight his way up to the top, yeah. And he's got a rookie with him. Yeah, it's really great stuff. Really great stuff. Cool. So there you go. The Watch Mojo list of the top 10 most underappreciated superhero films. Rob, thank you so much for breaking that all down with me.
It's always a pleasure.
And ladies and gentlemen, guess what? It's time for, it's your first of 2 Mojo Chats of the week. The movie is titled Hypochondriac, and it's making a splash over there at South by Southwest. I've got the director. I've got one of the stars to tell me all about it. Hello, Addison. Hello, Zach. How are you doing today?
You know, living our truest, best hungover lives in the city of Austin, Texas. Let me tell you.
Party. Wait, tell me about this. Party Central? What's going on? It must be a celebration.
Yeah. I mean, there was like the awards ceremony last night. We didn't win anything, but like no stress, no cut. I don't think we were even up for an award. It didn't matter. But like we went to, you know, like there's just so much going on right now. There's like music and film and like conventions, like, and so like I think like Zach was at a concert and I was at like the mid party where there was like a DJ and like they're sponsored by White Claw, so it's like endless flow of delicious. I mean, it's not delicious. White Claw is hot garbage, but alcohol. Oh man,
Sorry, White Claw.
Maybe I don't say that.
Bro, you just ruined your sponsorship, man. You could have gotten so much free White Claw.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not like Truly's any better. I mean, listen, I'm I'm what you call a seltzer aficionado. So I only drink artisanal seltzers. This is the joke.
Amazing. I'll stick with my G&T. That's my go-to. Okay, well, let's talk about the movie Hypochondriac because, well, you just said, Addison, that this is a personal story for you.
Yeah.
Well, first off, give us a tease. What's this about? What can people expect out of this movie?
So it's basically about a young gay Potter, Will, who is, you know, has a decent life right now. He's got a good boyfriend he's been dating for 8 months, and, you know, he's working at a high-end pottery shop. His boss is annoying, but, you know, he gets to do what he wants to do. But, you know, hidden under that, he's a very gregarious guy, and he's hiding something. When he was younger, his mother, in a state of psychosis, tried to kill him when he was 6, or not 6, 12. And cut to 18 years later, and his mom starts calling him again, leaving mysterious voicemails, sending him packages, telling him not to trust his boyfriend and to trust anybody. And so after a pretty egregious injury at work, and these voicemails, he starts hallucinating or being haunted by, as it were, a mysterious man in a wolf costume. And so the confluence of the abuse at work, his mother's voicemails, and this mysterious wolf kind of cause him to crack. And he has to go through this journey of psychosis and attempt to relieve himself of these symptoms and come out the other side.
You know, this all sounds, and I love movies like this. With that terrifying. I also read, and Zach, maybe I'll get you to chime in on this, that it's that there are points of comedy in here. Is that true? Is it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I like to describe. Zach, why don't you take it? Like, well, you did the comedy.
I did. I made it funny. Look, it's unique in that way. Yes, it is terrifying, but you know, we're kin now to say that it's, or I am anyway, that it's true to life in that way, right? It's like no experience I think is all bad or all good, you know, and you start to see like moments of humor that are peppered in, you know, into life's worst crises. And so yes, the horror of the film, of course, is, you know, one Will losing his mind and trying to deal with, you know, his psychosis, to put it in generic terms. But it's funny because that's life, man. I mean, look, I'm looking at you with your paraphernalia there behind you in your setup. You got the Jaws, you got the Shining. I mean, come on, Jaws is.
Also, again, I know I told you this earlier, but we weren't recording. Like that cardigan, just like so, like I'm jealous of that cardigan. Like I need it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, you guys got the cardigan memo. I just got this. I don't know.
Well, I would like to show off this cardigan because it's ridiculous. I mean, come on. Do we see this? Do we see this?
That is very South by Southwest. I love it.
Yes.
we're now also a fashion podcast too.
Yeah. Yes. We cover it all here. But the thing is, you know, like Jaws and The Shining, right? Like Shining is actually one of my first and still favorite horror movies. But like, there's some, I mean, I don't know if you guys agree, but I think there's some really goofy, hilarious moments. You know what I mean? Like there's amusing comedic moments throughout all that stuff, and that's why we love horror. You know,
I think you're absolutely right, and I think that's what people like out of their horror films as well. Addison, you went through the plot of that story. This is obviously ripped from some true life stuff to you. How much of it?
Yeah, you know, let's not pretend like Donnie Darko is the homage to this movie. You know, even the review is like the queer Donnie Darko, and I'm like, honestly, if that's how I want to be told about, then like, yeah, because Richard Kelly is my hero. I love that movie. But you know, I think like specifically why though, and what I was trying to emulate in this movie in terms of tone, because obviously this movie deals with a lot of tones. There's drama, there's humor, there's comedy, there's thriller elements, you know, fantasy, hallucinations, kind of all this like trippy stuff. And what I loved about Donnie Darko was that in that same movie, you have like Patrick Swayze being like the hammiest 80s, like 80s like self-help guru, and then you have like Donnie sitting on the bed with his mom, going like, "How does it feel to have a wacko for a son?" And she says, "It feels fantastic." You know what I mean? Like you know, I think I'm butchering the quote, but like you know, but like that to me is the crux of like the kind of storytelling that I'm attracted to and what I wanted to bring in this movie. And like Zach was saying, like the wolf, like it's the representation of his inner child, you know. So like the metaphor is a little different in our version. And
Yeah.
you know, everybody has their wolf. Everybody has their wolf that's there trying to get it to their attention because they're hurting. And ultimately, like I think that is what I think for me, United System makes it like United System makes it universal because like it, like you were saying, Zach, like it doesn't, not everybody is experiencing the same trauma, but we all feel it the same. You know, we feel, you know, whatever you're saying, like a breakup or like, you know, an abusive parent or, you know, distraught work environment, like that feeling that we all know what it feels for our chest to tighten, our breath to shallow, and us to feel like no, but nothing matters. And that is universal and everybody has that. And so like when I started telling this story, which I can get to in a second, like everybody was like, well, this happened to me, this happened to me. And I'm like, why are we keeping this quiet? It unites us, it doesn't divide us. And it doesn't make me feel good that we went through it, but at least we know each other and we can hold each other up, because the biggest thing for me is that I didn't want to be a burden on anyone. So I kept it hidden for so long. And once I finally asked for help, it came.
Right. And that's the thing is like, and Will similarly is like, you know, when he's at the, toward the crux of the movie, it's like, you know, he starts to work through, let's say, I'm trying to say it in a way that doesn't spoil things. You know, he starts to work through his psychosis and come to a different relationship with it, you know, which again, depending on your interpretation of the movie, I mean, that could be a horrific ending, or it could be something that, you know, or it could be something that you find like, oh, that's actually the happiest ending, you know, like that's
and right. And like honestly, all the stuff that I'm saying too, I'm like, I welcome other opinions because I understand the movie's not mine anymore. Once it's out, like it's everybody's, you know, and like
because the Donnie Darko, you know, like the parallels for me, and this is just unsolicited opinion, you know, that like it's yes there's like a similarity in the creature, and yes there's, you know, like the tonal elements, that is a huge thing. It's like there's very few films that can dance between, you know, comedy, horror, drama, and it's like, and some people don't get that, you know, they're expecting like a horror genre like bing, and it's like, no, that's more complicated than that, you know. But I think that's that like there, that for me, that's kind of where the similarities stop, you know. Like there's pieces of it, but Addison's story is so unique, and there's truth in it that, you know, that I'm like, yeah, like Donnie is in a weird way is like this drugged out like sci-fi trip, and it's like we're dealing with things that I think literally everyone deals with, you know. And so I don't know, I just think it's a very important film, obviously. Running my mouth
appreciate it.
Hey, listen, I don't want to keep any more of your time. I really appreciate it. Hypochondriac, keep an eye out for it. Hey, Zach, Addison, thank you guys so much for joining me.
I mean, thanks for having us.
She's a very talented actress, singer, influencer. What doesn't she do? Well, let's find out. It's Indi Star who's with us today. Hey, Indi, how are you?
Hi, good. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for being here to chat with me. I'm excited to chat with you. I love talking with some of the younger stars out there, you know, on the rise, and find out what they're up to. I mean, I know that you have an appearance in a movie that I'm actually really excited to see. I've seen the adverts, the trailers for it. It's called the Hyperions. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it and who you're playing in that particular movie?
Okay, yes. So I play young Vista, which is a younger version of Penelope Mitchell. She's amazing. And I'm a superhero, so I can read minds, which is super cool because I've always wanted to be a superhero ever since I was little, because Marvel is my favorite thing ever.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. And then Carrie Elwes also stars in the movie, and he was such an amazing person to work with. So I'm so thankful I got to meet him. And Yeah, basically it's more about family. In the movie, it's superheroes, comedy, family, and yeah.
Yeah, that checks a lot of boxes for people at home for sure. And there's a throwback element to it, right? It's taking place. We go back to like the '60s. Is that was the kind of vibe I got?
Yeah, yeah, basically.
Did you have to do research on like what the '60s was? Because that's way before your time.
Yeah, no, that is. I feel I love every single decade, so I know like a lot about all of the different decades. So I feel like that wasn't really like a problem for me. I was just more extremely excited to play a superhero, and I didn't really think about anything else except I'm gonna be a superhero. So I feel like that was the main thing.
So you said in the film your character can read minds. Is that what you said? Is that the power that you would if you were a superhero?
Okay, yeah. So I get asked this question so much, and I have such a good answer for it, except a lot of people look at me like I'm weird. So basically, I would want to time travel, but pick if I were to be in the memory, like past, if it's like a memory, like be in it, or just watch it, kind of.
Oh,
So
I
like,
see.
I could pick both ways.
I get it. That's not weird.
Yeah, I know. Everybody, I feel like I'm better at explaining it now. I was like really bad at explaining it a while ago, and everybody would just be like, okay, yeah, sure. Interesting.
I mean, mine's this. I don't know. Maybe I'd want to fly. I don't know. Mine's lame.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into the music stuff, because I know you're working on some things and got some exciting songs out there. Acting, is this something you want to continue to do? Did you get bit by the acting bug? Because you also did some other stuff, right?
Yeah, I've been in some other stuff. When I was younger, I mainly did a lot of commercials, and then I was just doing like some like different shows, just like going in and just like not like full on character. But I recently have been working on Charmers, or not recently,
Yep.
this last year.
Yeah.
I play Paris, the mean girl. So I loved playing that role. It was super fun, and I got to actually meet my best friends, which were enemies in the show, but we're best friends in real life. So that's really cool. But yeah, I've always wanted to do acting since I was younger, and I feel I'm more moving into the singing part of my life right now, but I still love acting and I want to pursue that.
I mean, you're so young, and if anyone, you can do it all. I mean, look at I don't know, Jennifer Lopez. She sings, she dances, she's in movies, she does it all. Did you say you played the mean girl on this show?
Yes, I do.
What? But how is that possible? Because you're so nice. Is that a stress? Is that hard to play like the mean person?
You know, online, a lot of people see me as a mean girl, which like, so I feel like it's just like, I don't know. A lot of people see me as a mean girl online. So I feel it was kind of easier to go into that on acting because it's a YouTube series. So it's more like, I don't know. I feel like I was just kind of playing into that.
Yeah, you got the channel what people already think. That's awesome.
Yeah, basically. But I think it was really funny because in the show I'm enemies with my best friend now. But we used to not like each other like a while ago. So this show is actually what brought us closer because we both got on the show. So this is like kind of what made us closer and like best friends. And in the show, we used to be best friends, but then we're enemies, like in the show. So it's kind of like opposite.
It's like a meta thing too. Friends on the show. Me and no. Yeah. I like it. I like it. Okay, let's talk the music because I was reading this. You started before we get into what you're into now. You started in Kids Bop. That's true.
Yeah, I did.
That's so popular. People love Kids Bop.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about Kids Bop? I'm serious. Like this is a very popular thing.
Yeah. So basically, I got in Kids Bop when I was 11, but I was doing the audition process when I was like around like just turning 10. So it was like a full year process. And I remember being in New York and getting the audition that I had to like send in like a self-tape. So I was like, I was always kind of insecure on like my dancing and thinking I wasn't really good. So I was like, I'm not gonna get this. Why am I doing this? Like I knew there was like a million other people auditioning for this. And then my friend got it while we were in New York, and she was like in the same hotel as us. And she was like, oh, I can teach you the dance because I already learned it. And I was like, oh yeah, will you? Thank you. That's so nice. So then she helped me with the audition thing because she already did hers. And then we both got like accepted into the next round, and then we just kept going, and then they picked me, which is like, I was like, what the, because it was a huge process.
Yeah, it's like it's like America, it's like getting picked on American Idol.
Yeah. Yeah, no, right? It was, but I was only in Kids Bop for 6 months, and then I decided to leave and pursue my own songs and singing type of stuff like that. But it was a really fun experience. I got to meet so many new people, and I got to like learn what the industry was, and like work with people, especially when I was like just 11. With that much experience is amazing. But yeah, I still have really close friends from Kids Bop that I knew in Kids Bop, which is crazy. But yeah, it was such a fun experience.
No, that is fun. That is fun. So Kids Bop, I mean, those are more like pop songs, dancey songs, right? The stuff that you're doing now, that's along the same lines, or explain the music that you're doing right now.
Yeah, so when I was younger, it was all like covers, obviously. So it wasn't really like I got to pick what songs I sing. So I'm really excited now that I moved into my own singing, and I get to like especially write all of the songs that I sing. And I'd say more my singing is probably like indie pop, kind of like I'm trying to move over into that direction. And I think the songs that we're writing right now, it hasn't been released, but I think they're moving more into that direction, which I'm super excited about because I love those type of songs. So yeah.
Nice. If there was an artist that, if you were to say like, if you like so and so, you might like my music, who would that artist be? Is it like a?
Oh, okay. I can't really compare myself to all.
Well, it's not really.
No, yeah.
I'm Taylor Swift. Yes.
Yeah, I understand. So many people are gonna be like, you compare yourself to that person, but no. I mean,
the music stylings, if you will.
Yeah, I have always loved Billie Eilish's music, so I really want to go in that direction. But I also, I don't know if you've heard her music. Sorry, my light went off. Melanie Martinez. She has amazing music, and I love how she writes her songs because they're just so like, I love a lot of metaphors in songs and like visualizing stuff, and she does that really well. So I would love to start doing music like how she writes her songs.
Amazing. Well, maybe we'll see you at like Coachella one of these years. I'll be there. Okay. Take me outside of the business, right? Outside of acting, outside of the music, outside of all the shows. What does Indi Star like to do? What do you like to do?
Okay.
You a sporty?
So, I do love sports. I don't really play them. Like I don't really go because I feel like there's not really anywhere that I would be able to play them because I'm homeschooled. So like I can't really play sports, but I love playing sports. No, I like drawing a lot. I like doing a lot of writing in my journal, and then I also love reading. And what else? I love getting new clothes. I love shopping. Actually, shopping is really stressful. Like it's getting really stressful for no reason. But
wait a minute. Why is shopping so stressful?
I don't know, because I want like, I don't know. I go to shops and I'm like, okay, there's too many. It's either there's too many cute clothes to pick from that I don't want to, or there's not any. And then I'm like, what is going on? I don't know. I feel like it's just become stressful, but I like
shopping for, if you're a guy, like, listen, this is the problem I have with shopping is that the girls have so much selection. Yeah. And then if you ever go to like the guy section of like the same store, it's like a corner. It's like, what? I have like 5 shirts to choose from where the girl has like 2 floors.
Yeah.
Right. So you have too much selection. I get it. Okay.
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. And then, so I like drawing. I like painting a lot. I play video games a lot with my friends. Yeah, basically just chilling, I guess, but mainly art and video games.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Got to get those creative juices flowing for the next song or the next acting project. Indy, what, I mean, you've got your YouTube channel. I'm assuming that's where people, if they want to see more of you, where they can go. Give us the deets.
Yeah, so my YouTube channel is Indi Star, and I post all of my music videos on there. I haven't really posted anything like lifestyle recently, but I'm starting to get into that more. But yeah, I post a lot of music videos and lifestyle stuff.
Amazing. And we'll be all over your socials, I'm sure, as well, to see what you got on the horizon next. Indy, thank you so much. It was so much fun chatting with you. Like I said, I love chatting with the youth of Hollywood to see what's going on. Really appreciate it. All right, that's going to do it for this week's episode, everybody. Huge thanks to everyone for joining me today. Indy, Addison, Zach, and of course, Rob, for bringing the fun. And thank you for watching and listening. Until next time, I've been Mr. Hollywood, Poppin the Culture.